Hi everyone, it's Janet from Waterdogs. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the importance of training your dog. So I'm going to start with a little story. This is one of my dogs here, Jack. Jack is about 9 years old. He's a golden retriever, as you can see, and a lot of people think because Jack is a golden retriever that he didn't have any bad habits. He was a great dog from the beginning, and that's not the start of his story at all. Jack came to me, I think he was probably about 4 years old, and he came to me by way of just kind of getting literally dropped on my doorstep. And Jack was a big jerk. He was a mean dog. Jack bit me. He bit me pretty bad. He had some serious resource guarding issues. I didn't know any history on Jack. All I knew was a dog kind of showed up in front of me one day, and I'm a dog trainer, and I thought, well, what's one more dog? And then one day I made this serious mistake, and I should know better because I am a dog trainer. I owned Jack for about 2 weeks, and Jack came trotting up to me with something in his mouth, and just not thinking because he was pretty decent until that point, I reached down to take something from his mouth, and that's when he dropped what he had in his mouth to latch himself onto my arm and vigorously shake me, pulling me down to the ground and just honestly scaring the poop out of me because, again, it's it's a golden retriever and you don't think that that's going to happen. So Jack, for about the first 6 months of his life, no one was allowed to handle him. No one was allowed to feed him, walk him, do anything with him. He was entirely my responsibility. He was muzzled. He had a lot of serious management protocols put in place, how to teach him how resource guarding was no longer an option for him. He did have a couple of real serious moments in life that we had to have some conversations about how things were going to be and if he was going to live or die, basically. So the problem, everybody wants to do the thing where you rescue or you adopt and all this kind of stuff. That is the underlying problem. Every dog needs training. There's no dog in this world, whether you get them as an 8-week-old puppy or you get them as a 4-year-old golden retriever, every dog needs training, and training literally saves dogs' lives. So Jack had an in-depth training program. I do have 1,000% trust in him now. I have 1,000% trust in Jack with anybody. Whoever takes my dog and handles him, I know Jack will never repeat his serious offenses because we really put him through his paces, and I, as a professional, felt comfortable and confident that I could do this. However, I do understand that if I were to let him start to break and bend the rules or create some gray area, that Jack probably would revert back to his ways. He gets a very structured life. He plays with all my other dogs. He meets everyone. He does a lot of my trainings with me, but the importance of training with a dog, I cannot stress enough how training saves lives. If you don't think your dog needs training, it does. If you think your dog is perfect, it's honestly, sometimes we get that once in a lifetime dog. Sometimes we get that dog who's just an easygoing, happy-go-lucky dog. But reality is, most dogs have issues. Most dogs will pull on leash or jump on people or consistently bark at the door or not come back when they're called or have car sickness or anything. And all of these things can be addressed through training. So if you think that you want to bring a dog into your life, whether it's a young baby puppy, whether it's a middle-aged dog, whether it's an old dog that just stumbled onto your doorstep one day and you think you know that dog, no dog shows their true self. In my opinion, no dog shows their true self till you've had them 2 to 3 weeks where they start, the dating stage is over, I like to call it, and we go into the real dog stage, and that's where I saw Jack, and he had no real manners, but he had no real bad potential until I made that mistake of thinking I should reach down and take something from him. He's now been with me for 5 years. He is, again, one of my best dogs, but not a day goes by that I don't ask things from him and tell him how to make good choices. If given the opportunity, I'm sure absolutely Jack would steal my dinner off my plate or grab something and not let go of it if he sees weakness in a person. So that's something. He is a strong personality of a dog, but he's lovable, he's sweet, he's trustworthy. But the importance is he kind of hit the lottery. He fell on the right person's doorstep at the right time. And if Jack had ended up, I do believe if Jack had ended up anywhere else with anybody else, he probably wouldn't be alive today because his issues were serious. He meant business. He did cause harm. he had zero training, and it wasn't just he didn't know how to sit or he didn't know how to come when he was called. He would rather bite you than negotiate with you. It was all about Jack, and he terrorized a lot of people. I came to find out after a little bit about his story. So train your dogs. It doesn't matter. It's never too late to start training your dogs. It's never too early to start training your dogs. If you get that dog the day it comes home, don't give it the keys to the mansion and then start complaining in 3 or 4 months that the dog is really not listening and starting to show you all the bad behaviors. The day you bring that dog into your house is the day that the training starts. You don't let them to start to develop bad habits and then say, oh, now it's a problem. Now, he's jumping on someone or he's bit or nipped someone. We want to have very clear understanding of what's expected of us as their owners and of them as dogs. So if you need any help with training, we're always here to answer questions, but please don't let your dog do something and then reach out after. I mean, we can always help put your dog back together and help rebuild relationships. But the thing is it's better, the term I use is it's always easier to put out a campfire than it is to wait till it's a raging bonfire. So Jack is very lucky where he came from and where he is today, and that's because of training.